Hey there, how you guys doing? Hope you guys are having a great time. And today in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a couple of games I made using JavaScript. So right now I have two games. One is already finished. The other one is still under development. But don't worry, I will finish it. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so here we are at our first game, which is of course called Red Hat Boy. Now this is our first game I made using JavaScript, and this one is kind of fully complete. Though I am planning on upgrading it, I might just do it. Now as you can see, I used an image tag to make the Red Hat Boy one. I used two button tags for the one that says run and the other one says more games. And if you look at the background, you can see I used a video, a previous recording of the gameplay I used for the main menu background. Now before we go ahead and run, let me show you what happens when you press the more games button. Now once you press it, you go to this website called Fru. Now on this website, you can play more online free games like these right here. It's a really good website. You can press that button and you can come here and play more games. Now, let's get back to our main game at hand, right? Which is, of course, Red Hat Boy. Now, let's press run and start the game. Now we're here at the main area, the main start area, and as you can see, our boy is now moving. Neither is the background, neither is our score. And since we're not moving, our score is still 0. But once I press enter, we start running, and the flames come near us. And all we have to do, we have to jump and avoid the flames. Now what happens when you touch the flames is our boy dies. And we get the screen here that says game over, and there's another one that says your score, which shows us our score. Now it says 103. Now if you look at the top right, top left, it says 103. It says the exact same we got while we ran. Now of course there's another button that says run again. Now once I click this, it takes us back to the very start of the game. Now another great feature is that once I press the jump button, the space key, he starts running again. So you don't really have to press the enter, you can also press the jump button and continue like always. Now, let me show you the code I used to make the game. Alright, so here we are at the HTML page that I used for the main menu of the game. So, right now we have the head tag. Inside the head tag we have the title ones that says Red Hat Boy, and we have the link one that we used to connect the style CSS with the HTML, and we of course we have the body tags I gave it a class that says body, and of course we have the video tags, the one that I used for the main menu background, where you see the gameplay recording, and the video is right here that says background.mp4, and of course I have the image tag, the redhatboy.png, the one I used for the giant title you see at the start, and of course I made a do, which I classed it as buttons. And of course right now we have the two buttons right here, which says run and more games. Now once you press run, it takes you to the main gameplay area, the one where we run and avoid the flames. And once you press the more games button, it takes us to Fru, the website where you can play more free games. Now let me show you the CSS I used for the main menu. Now we have the body I used for the main menu one, the CSS of the body, the CSS of the D1, and we have the D2 one, we have the ones I used for the buttons, and of course the play button, the one you see at the start, and of course the play hover one we also used for the buttons, and of course the video one I used for the main menu background, the CSS for the video. Now let me show you the HTML of the gameplay one. And here's the HTML of our gameplay area. Here we have the head, like always. It has redhead boy on it as the title. And we go down here, has more of the HTML used for it. And right now we have the image tag, which is used for, I give it a class as boy, ID is also boy. And here we have the score one, the ones we use to update the score as we go on. I class it as score, the ID is also score. And of course we have the end screen tags, the ones we see like game over and your score. And of course the remaining score we get after we die. And of course the tags that I use for the run again button right here. Now this, let me show you the script of the gameplay one. We have the run sound, the sound you hear when you run, and we have the jump sound, the sound that you hear when you jump, the dead sound, the sound you hear once you die in the game. And we have this function, the key check function event, the ones that we use for the keys in the game, you know, like the enter key and the space key. Here we have the ones used for the enter key right here. If we go down, we have the space key, the ones used with jumping. And now we have the boy run one, like this is what we used for this is where we make the function for running. We have the jump one, the function will be used for the jumping. And here we have the jump fly one. Now this is for the first half of the jumping part, where we fly up. And right down here we have the jump landing part. This is the second half of the part, the jumping, where we land down back at the ground. And if we go further down, we have this one, the starting the game from the jump. Like I showed you guys before, where you guys can jump and start the game instead of running. That's why we have this right here. Right now we have the create block one. By this we can like create more flames in the game. As we progress, as we progress the game, more flames get created, so we can get more score. We have the move block tag, the ones that is used to move the flames towards us, so we can jump and avoid them. And if we go further down, we have the boy dead one, the one that we use for the boy's death as soon as he touches the flames. And once we go down, we have the page reload one. Now you guys can remember the run again button. Now for the run again button to work, we have to make a function for the reload one. So once you press the run again button, it takes us back to the start, so that's why we have this. And of course the score one, which is used to update the score. And now we have the move background one, the one that is used to move the background as we go forward. Alright, so that's all for the first game. So right now, you guys can remember that I said I have a couple of games I made using JavaScript. So without further ado, let's go for the second one. Alright, so here we are at our second game. Now this one is called Nexus Bot Runner. Yes, I came up with that name. Now, like the previous game, we have another video tag we used in the background. You can see it's actually a video, not an image. You can see the robot in the background working. And also there's another image tag I used, you know, the Nexus Bot Runner one. And we have three buttons that says run, settings, and more games. Now I haven't built the settings one yet because I didn't really have the time. But the run and the more games function are working like before. As you can see, if we press the more games, it takes us back to through the website I already previously told you about, which has more free games where you can play. And of course, when I press run, now this is our first level. I call it Desert Dwelling Nevada, as you can see right here at the top. Now, let me show you how this one works. Just like the previous game, you have to jump, you have to avoid the enemies, keep going, and now in this one, this is the first level of the game. You have to get 500 at the score. Once you get 500, you move to the next level. Now let's get 500, and let me show you what happens next. You have to keep going, keep jumping, and avoiding the enemies, and get our high score. We can get to the next level. We're halfway there. After we complete this, we can go to the next level of the game. And almost there. And as you can see, once we get 500 score, we come to the finishing part of of our first level. Now if I press home, it takes us back to the main menu of the game. If I press next zone, it takes us to our next level. Now this level is called Retro Las Vegas. Now in this level, you have to get 1,000 score to go next. Now, before we continue, I'll have to tell you guys that this is the last level of the game. I was planning on making more levels, but I didn't really have time, and all the outputs didn't come out as right. So, though I am planning on upgrading this later on, so in the future I will add more levels. So let's start this one, and then start the level. If we keep going, we can jump, avoid the enemies. And now in this level, we have to get 8,000, unlike the first one. And of course, once you touch the enemy, our little robot dies, and we get the screen that says game over, your score, like the previous game. Now, let me show you the Visual Studio Code, the JavaScript I used in this one. Alright, so here we are at the HTML of our main menu of the Nexus Bot Runner game. We have, just like the previous one, it's the same. There's quite a few differences here and there. And of course we have the button tag. Here in the button tag, we have two buttons that says Run, Settings, and More Games. Now, of course, I didn't really build the settings one yet since I didn't really have time. Now, once you press the run button, it takes you to the first level of the game. And of course, when you press More Games, it takes us back to our website that says Through, where you can play more games. And let me now show you the HTML. Now, let me show you the style CSS I used in this one. Here we have the one I used for the body tag. We have the CSS here, and the CSS I used for the D1, the CSS I used for the D2, the buttons, the play button, the play hover button, the one for the cursor, and of course we have the video one, the one I used for the main menu, like in the previous game. Now, let's go to the level 2 of the one. Let me show you the HTML of our first level of the game, Desert Dwelling Nevada. Now, in the first level, we have, just like the previous gameplay one, we have the image tag I used for the run, and of course the title that says Desert Dwelling Nevada, the link that connects to CSS, and of course we go down here, we have the divs that says game over, your score, and the remaining score we get once we finish the game. And of course, but the difference is, unlike the previous one, this one has a limit. Now we have a div class that says the one screen. Now in this one, we have the one we get once we complete the level that says nice run dude and your score. And of course this one also has two buttons that says home, which takes us back to the main menu of the game, and the next zone one, which takes us to the next level of the game. And of course we have this script tag that uses to connect the script.js of the game. And now let me show you the script. Right, so here we have our script, and we have the run sound, the jump sound, the dead sound, and of course the key check one, the ones we used for the functions of the keys, like the enter key and the space key. And we have the run function, and we have the jump function, and of course the fly function of the jump one, and the land function of the jump. And if we go further down, we have the background function, the ones that are used to move the background to the opposite direction as we move forward. And we have the score function that is used to update the score as we progress. And here we have the one that limits the score. Now, since this is different than the previous game, this one actually limits our score. Once we reach 500, the level ends. Now that's how that one works. And we go to the create block one, which creates more enemies as we progress. And the move block function, which moves the enemies towards us so we can jump and avoid them. And we have the dead function. The final function, the dead function, which of course happens once our little robot dies. And of course the reload function is the one we get once we press the run again button. It makes us run, takes us back to the very start of the level. Alright, now let me show you the one of the level 2. The level 2, which is Retro Las Vegas. Alright. Just like the previous one, we have the same right here. So the same. And let me show you the JavaScript. And here we have the JavaScript like the previous one. It's the same, the space key, the run, the jump function, the fly function of the jump, the land function, the background function of the game, the score function of the game, and of course the new score function of the game. Now, this level is harder than the previous one, so instead of the 500, I've actually added 1000. So in the retro Las Vegas level, you have to get 1000 to complete it. So just like that, right now we have the create block one, which creates more creates more enemies, and we have the move block function that moves the enemies towards us, and we have the dead function like before, and the reload function, which takes us back to the previous part of the game. And now let me show you the style CSS of this one. Of course, we have the player, our like the previous one, our little robots CSS, and the background one, which is retro, the Las Vegas background I used. I have the score function, the body tag, the block function, the end screen function, and the end score one, and the CSS of the one screen, CSS of the one score. Alright, so that's all the games we have for today, and I'm actually still developing the last game, our Nexus Bot Runner game. I was planning on making more levels to the game, but I didn't have much time. I was quite busy. I didn't really have the time to make it, but I will develop it in the future. I'll add more levels, maybe add more features to it. But that's all we have for today. And I actually hope that if you're planning on making a game of your own using JavaScript, I actually hope this video actually helped you guys, so you can make your own game. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.